They tell you your anger is the problem. They will stand amidst the wreckage of a life they have systematically dismantled. Point a trembling finger at your clenched fist and whisper to the world, "You see, I was right to be afraid." They will chronicle your rage. They will document your fury. They will present your pain as their persecution, and you, foolishly, will believe them. You will see the monster in the mirror and think it is a reflection of your own soul, and not the masterpiece they have spent years sculpting. Today's lesson is on their most elegant, most insidious of the dark arts. Play, a curse so potent it requires no wand, no incantation, only your own humanity as its primary ingredient. We shall call it the curse of provocation. It is the spell that turns the victim into the villain, the survivor into the aggressor. It is the art of goading a soul to the breaking point, and then holding up the shattered pieces as proof of its inherent fragility. Pay attention. Your sanity may one day depend on it. To understand this curse, you must first understand the brewing process. It is not a sudden hex. It is a slow-acting poison, administered over years, in doses so small you barely register the sickness until you are already on your knees. The first ingredient is a slow, methodical erosion of reality. For 7 years, the cauldron is filled with a constant, simmering broth of quiet lies. You suspect your gut, that primitive, unerring compass, screams that you are sailing into a storm. You find the evidence, the charts of her duplicitous voyages, the logs of her secret ports of call with other men. You see the intimate chats, the parallel life she lives in, the phosphorescent glow of a screen, while you lay sleeping beside her. You present these facts, these artifacts of her betrayal, and she looks at you with wide, wounded eyes and tells you that you are paranoid, you are crazy, you are insecure. She does not merely deny the fact. She pathologizes your discovery of it. She makes your perception the problem. This is the foundation of the spell. She is not just lying to you. She is teaching you to stop believing yourself. The second ingredient is a calculated and sustained devaluation. It is a campaign of 1,000 cuts. You provide the shelter, you pay the bills, you build the foundation of a life, and your reward, an empty box on your birthday, a fabricated story of cancelled items from a woman with $10,000 of your sacrifice sitting in her own account. This is not carelessness, it is a statement. It is a meticulously crafted message that says, your contribution is expected. Your value is 0. Your milestones are an inconvenience. She is not just disrespecting you. She is conditioning you to expect nothing, so that you might be grateful for the scraps she occasionally deigns to offer. All the while, she is grooming your replacement, the next subject. In her private ledgers, your life together is described as a true nightmare. You are a mere obstacle, a placeholder. She fakes affection for months, a ghastly performance of love, while her heart, her body, and her future are already pledged to another. This slow, agonizing bleed of your self-worth is essential. A man who values himself cannot be easily provoked. So first, she must teach you that you are worthless. Then comes the catalyst. The final, brutal act, the discard. It is never gentle. It is a surgical amputation performed with a rusty blade and no anesthetic. She leaves, not with an apology, not with an explanation, but with an air of righteous indignation, as if she is the one who has been wronged. She walks directly into the arms of the other man, the one she swore was a figment of your crazy imagination, and she does it publicly. She ensures you see. But the spell is not yet complete. The poison has been administered. Your reality has been shattered. Your worth has been gutted. Now comes the final, masterful stroke. The goading. The narcissist cannot simply win. They must be seen to win. They must paint you not just as a loser, but as the deserving architect of your own demise. And so, the smear campaign begins. Her family, those silent, complicit enablers who watched her infidelity for years, suddenly find their voices. They become her flying monkeys, an army of screeching foot soldiers for her false narrative. They vilify you. They mock you. They flaunt their victory in your face. A grotesque parade of middle fingers and smug smiles, all while knowing the truth of her deception. They have pushed you out of the life you built, and now they dance on the ashes, daring you to react. They are holding a lit match to the vast reservoir of pain, betrayal, and injustice they have spent 7 years creating inside of you. They are begging for an explosion, and when it comes, they act surprised. You write the email. The words pour out, hot and jagged, forged in the fires of 7 years of torment. It is nasty. It is raw. It is the sound a soul makes when it is finally torn in two. It is, for the first time in nearly a decade, the undiluted truth. And in that moment, the trap springs. Your explosion is their vindication. Your rage is their proof. Your lashing out is the period at the end of the long sentence they have been writing about you all along. He is unstable. He is the problem. I was right to leave. I was right to be afraid. That email, that monument to your pain, is not read as a cry for help. It is forwarded. It is weaponized. Her father, the patriarch of this clan of liars, threatens your mother with harassment charges. Suddenly, the context of 7 years of psychological torture is erased. All that remains is your reaction. The abuser, cloaked in a veil of feigned terror, becomes the victim. And you, the true victim, are now legally, socially, and publicly the harasser. The curse is complete. You have been provoked into becoming the monster she always claimed you were. The great philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche wrote, "Whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process he does not become a monster." And if you gaze long enough into an abyss, the abyss will gaze back into you. The narcissist does not want you to fight the monster. They want you to become it. They hand you the mirror and hold you in front of the abyss, goading you to gaze, to leap, to drown in the darkness of your own reactive fury. Because if you are also a monster, then what they did was not monstrous. It was so. So what is the countercurse? How does one break a spell that uses your own reactions as its power source? You do not do it by suppressing your anger. That is impossible. It is like trying to hold back the tide. The anger is righteous. It is the immune system of your psyche responding to a lethal pathogen. The counter-curse is not to extinguish the fire, but to change its function. You must stop using it as a signal flare for your pain, and begin using it as the fuel for your forge. The Stoic Emperor Marcus Aurelius provided the blueprint 2,000 years ago. He wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Your aggressor thrives on chaos. They feed on your emotional response, your rage, your tears, your desperate pleas for understanding. This is the nectar they crave. It proves to them that they still matter, that they still have power over you, that the strings they attach to your soul are still firmly in their grasp. To be unlike them, then, is to deny them this sustenance. The true counter-curse is not a louder scream, but a quieter silence. It is the chilling, absolute, unshakable peace of indifference. It is the realization that the game is rigged, and the only winning move is not to play. Block them, delete them, erase every digital ghost, every path back to your peace. When their flying monkeys report back to them that you are thriving, that you are building, that you are creating a life that is not just surviving their absence, but is superior. Because of it, you are not just healing. You are actively dismantling their power. A narcissist cannot comprehend a world in which they are irrelevant. Your indifference is not just a shield. It is the most sophisticated and devastating weapon you can possibly deploy. It is a psychological checkmate. They provoked you. They engineered your breakdown. They curated your rage and presented it as your character. They did this because your emotional reaction was the final ingredient they needed to complete their narrative of victimhood. Let them have their story. Let them read it to each other in their sad, empty castles built on foundations of lies. You are no longer a character in their pathetic play. You have work to do. You have a forge to light. Your pain, your anger, your betrayal, these are no longer wounds. They are raw materials, and you will use them to craft an armor they can never penetrate, and a blade they will never see coming. The ultimate retribution is not making them see the truth. They are incapable of that. It is becoming so grounded in your own reality, so powerful in your own peace, that their version of events becomes nothing more than the meaningless whisper of a ghost in a life you no longer inhabit. They handed you a curse. You will hand them back a void. Lesson is over.